GoodX Integration 1. Pre-link to GoodX mappings. 1.1 Insurance requests. Insurance companies are set up as a client in pre-link. Insurance companies are set up as a medical aid in GoodX. The pre-link client primary code must match the GoodX medical aid scheme code. The pre-link client location code must match the GoodX medical aid option code. E.g., pre-link, client name, 1 Life Direct. Client primary code, 1L001. Client location name, 1 Life 4Ways. Client location code, 1LF01. GoodX, medical aid scheme name, 1 Life Direct. Medical aid scheme code, 1L001. Medical aid option name, 1 Life 4Ways. Medical aid option code, 1LF01. Note, test and profile pricing will need to be set up for this medical aid option in GoodX. 1.2 Cash or credit card requests. To provide proper financial reporting and reconciliation in GoodX, a private medical aid record will have to be created in GoodX using the following details: medical aid scheme name, private patients. Medical aid scheme code, privat. Medical aid option name, private patients. Medical aid option code, privat. Note, test and profile pricing will need to be set up for this medical aid option in GoodX. Pre-link will set the scheme code and option code to privat in the invoice data that is sent to GoodX. 1.3 Pro Dea requests. Pro Dea requests are when the debtor must not be debited or billed. These are usually requests done for lab staff at a cost to the lab and not the staff member. To provide proper financial reporting and reconciliation in GoodX, a private medical aid record will have to be created in GoodX using the following details: medical aid scheme name, Pro Dea requests. Medical aid scheme code, ProDeo. Medical aid option name, Pro Deo requests. Medical aid option code, ProDeo. Note, test and profile pricing will need to be set up for this medical aid option in GoodX. This would probably be the cost price of the test and not the price charged to a private client, for example. Pre-link will set the scheme code and option code to ProDeo in the invoice data that is sent to GoodX. 1.4 Medical aid requests. Medical aid requests are straightforward. The medical aid number, code and dependent number are captured in pre-link. Pre-link will use the scheme code and option code from the captured medical aid to create the invoice data that is sent to GoodX. Note, test and profile pricing will need to be set up for each medical aid scheme or option in GoodX. 1.5 Project requests. Note, due to the complexity of billing for projects and the fact that motion pathology will probably not be partaking in projects or studies at this time, this has been excluded from the GoodX integration. 1.6 Account requests. Account payments are when a company will be billed for patients' tests instead of the guarantor or medical aid being billed. The companies must be set up as a client in pre-link. The companies must be set up as a medical aid in GoodX. The pre-link client primary code must match the GoodX medical aid scheme code. The pre-link client location code must match the GoodX medical aid option code. E.g., pre-link, client name, SAPI Employee Benefit Fund. Client primary code, SAP001. Client location name, SAPI Lomati. Client location code, SAPL01. GoodX, medical aid scheme name, SAPI Employee Benefit Fund. Medical aid scheme code, SAP001. Medical aid option name, SAPI Lomati. Medical aid option code, SAPL01. Note, test and profile pricing will need to be set up for this medical aid option in GoodX. 2. Employee codes. When capturing cash and credit card payment methods for requests, a valid user must be selected in the Accepted By field of the payment details. For this to happen, the selected user must have a unique employee code set up for them in the Details tab of Employee Management. Figure 1, Employee Details. 3. Test and profile cost codes. Every billable test and profile in Prelink must have the correct cost code associated with it, as the BHF code is sent to GoodX to identify the procedure and determine its price. If the test or profile doesn't have any cost code associated to it, it will not be billed. Figure 2. Test management. Glucose fasting has no cost code setup. 4. Medical aid update. Prelink currently has over 500 medical aids set up in the medical aid management. To ensure that the correct medical aid scheme and option codes are sent to GoodX, Prelink will need to have the correct MedPrax EDI code for all the medical aids. This will require deleting all medical aids in Prelink and then allowing the Prelink GoodX export service to import the MedPrax medical aid scheme and option files. Note: medical aids already associated to a request in Prelink can't be deleted, so those medical aids will be updated manually. 4.1 Medical Aid Management. All medical aids must have a valid MedPrax EDI code, otherwise they will not be switched. GoodX will not even create an invoice if an incorrect or empty EDI code is sent through. There are currently several medical aids within Prelink that do not have a valid EDI code, as they did not exist in the MedPrax scheme file. Figure 3 Medical Aid Management. 5. Prelink Control Setup. The GoodX service must be enabled in the Prelink Controls configuration screen. Navigate to the top menu bar, click the Options and then Setup menu item. Figure 4 Prelink Control. Click on the Services tab. Check the GoodX Billing checkbox. Enter the URL to the GoodX system in the web address text input. Enter the file system path to the MedPrax files in MedPrax path text input. Click Save. Figure 5 Prelink Control Setup. 6. Billing Process. 6.1 Invoice Creation. 6.1.1 Cash and Credit Card. During the data capture process, Prelink will display the total amount due if the cash or credit card payment method is selected by the user. Figure 6 Amount due after selecting cash. The total amount due is calculated using the prices set up for the cost codes that are associated to the tests and/or profiles that have been ordered for the request. If the user enters a value higher than 0 in the amount text box, Prelink assumes the guarantor is paying upfront and will immediately send the invoice data to GoodX after completing the data capture. If the user enters 0, Prelink assumes the user is paying later on and will automatically send the invoice data to GoodX once all the tests are resulted and all the departments are signed off in Prelink. GoodX will then send a bill to the guarantor. 6.1.2 Medical Aid, Account, Insurance and Pro Deo. The invoice data is automatically sent to GoodX once all the tests are resulted and all the departments are signed off in Prelink. 6.2 Billing Status. There are several billing statuses in Prelink. Not required. Invoice will not be created. Currently project requests. To be invoiced. Invoice will be created waiting for completion. Ready, completed and signed off waiting to send to GoodX. Invoiced. GoodX has created the invoice and returned the invoice number error. An error has occurred when sending to GoodX. The billing status of a request can be seen in the request details when viewing a request, as seen below. Figure 7, Viewing the billing status of a request. 6.3 Billing Report. There is a billing report that is located in the menu under Administration, Reports, Billing, Billing Status. The page will display all the requests for the current day. The user is able to click on the request to open the View Request page in a new browser tab or window. The user is also able to search for all requests with a specific status and/or within a selectable data range. Figure 8, Billing Status Report page. Note: if the billing status for the request is error, there will be a resend link that the user can click and it will mark the request as read so that the invoice can be resent to GoodX. 7. Outstanding Issues. 7.1 Credits or Refunds. We need to determine what must happen, and how it must happen, when a test or profile is deleted from a request that has already been invoiced or paid for. GoodX will need to create functionality that will allow Prelink to transmit the request data that indicates what must be credited or refunded. 7.2 Cash Payment Method. During the request capture, if the user selects cash as the payment type, the total price is calculated and displayed to the user. They need to enter the amount received, receipt number and user that received the money. What should happen if the user enters an amount that differs from the total price that we calculated and displayed to the user? Should it email someone? Should it prevent them from capturing the request? Maybe the patient will pay a portion upfront and the outstanding amount later? 7.3 Project Requests. We need to discuss how clients of projects or studies are billed. Once this has been determined, we can discuss a way forward with GoodX. 7.4 Insurance EDI. We need to determine if GoodX support EDI for insurance requests. Prelink currently has an insurance EDI export service that is used in conjunction with a third party to provide the data conversion and switching. e.g. Global Labs uses Vodacom to retrieve, process and switch the exported file from Prelink. It would be cheaper if GoodX could perform the insurance EDI. Due to our previous experience with insurance EDI, there are several fields that would need to be added to the invoice data that is transmitted to GoodX. These fields include IBB broker branch, IBN broker name and code, VTP collection type, VCD collection location, DPT department, SGN sign-off user or doctor authorization name. E.g. the above-mentioned fields are required for Sanlam insurance requests. 7. Service Center Code. In order for transactions to be processed through GoodX, it is important to make sure that a Service Center code is assigned to each site in the Prelink Site Management module. To access Site Management, navigate to Administration General Site Admin Site Management on the Prelink menu bar. This will bring you to the following screen. Each site listed in Site Management must have a unique Service Center code assigned to it, which can be obtained from GoodX. To add a Service Center code, click on Edit on the listed site and, in the following screen, enter the Service Center code in the field indicated below. Next, click on Update. For other sites on the list, click on Return to List to return to the Site Management screen, and then repeat the process for each site.